every day, somewhere in the world, a library disappears. Not because it burns down, not because an earthquake destroys it, but quietly everywhere. A library with decades of knowledge leaves companies with the retirement of employees. This library doesn't contain novels. Instead, it contains 20 or 30 years of experience and knowledge for companies. Stories that explain why decisions were made, decisions that may have averted a crisis at one point, shortcuts that saved millions, and ideas that changed products and processes and made them much more effective. Many of these thoughts were not written down because they did not look like golden nuggets. And your employees often talked about them with the phrase, this knowledge is not a big deal. I mean, I always do it like this and everybody would do it like this. But then your employee retires, still with all the knowledge in his head, and this book of knowledge is gone. And you realize its value weeks or months later. So I call this the silent brain drain. The quiet disappearance of knowledge. It costs companies billions. It's not because people do not want to share their knowledge or leave their knowledge. It's because for a long time we didn't have tools that were easy for employees to handle and tools that help continuously secure skills. This is exactly the point where a new technology can make a difference. This is where AI shows its magic. And this is where AI becomes a bridge builder. Imagine, a long-time employee doesn't fall late at the end of job, his knowledge in endless Excel spreadsheets or file folders as he used to do, and nobody looks at them anyway, to be honest. But directly with AI, now he can turn it into clear instructions, into nicely designed workflows, or into easy to understand training courses. Ready to start teaching and onboarding the next generation, whether they are immigrants and have a different language or not. So AI helps translate even the technical language into everyday language, fills in missing steps, these golden nuggets, and makes the whole things immediately usable for the next step. Suddenly experience is no longer a bottleneck. It becomes a driver of innovation. So let's start this growth engine. At first, I may introduce myself. My name is Simone Eckelt. I have a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with a focus of European economics, and we come to this a little bit later on. But I'm also an educated interior designer, very successful for 20 years now. And since this year, after a deep diving in AI, last year with Kane Minkes, thank you very much to Industry Rockstars, I'm an AI expert for knowledge preservation and secure AI strategies in Europe. Besides, I still own 3 other companies in other industries, so I'm very familiar with the practical aspects of AI in everyday business life. So long before AI came this hot topic, one question always had been on my mind. How can we secure a company's most valuable asset, namely the knowledge of the people? And so I have a mission, and I would love you will support it to ensure that this invisible capital, the knowledge within companies, is no longer lost, and that AI becomes the promised source of growth everybody talks about. And on the base of human-oriented AI solutions, that's exactly how I understand technological process. When we enrich this knowledge with AI, something exciting happens. It's not only preserved, it multiplied, and it can be the reason for an exponential growth for companies. Everybody talks about, but this is one of the fundamental keys in my opinion. Not by dismissing people, by unleashing them. So, coming to the extent of the silent brain drain, let's stick to the facts for a moment. Just to highlight the importance of this issue from an economic perspective as well. Around 1 million people retire in Germany every year, and the baby boomers are reinforcing this. In the future, we will talk about 1.3 to 1.7 million per people per year in one country. In the EU, the figure exceeds 4 million per year, and the United States has a similar figure. So we talk about, in total, there are more than 9 million people per year in the Western world. This is not just a personal issue for the HR department. It's a huge economic and competitive issue. While you are finding and training your new employees, the experience and the knowledge of the older generation is often irretrievably lost. So I know how that feels, because you can immediately sense this even in a small environment. As an entrepreneur, I have experienced how a key employee left, and it took the team months to get back on track. Do you know how frustrating the feeling is of helplessness as a leader? That feeling that although the people are working ambitiously and still there, the answers to the crucial points are suddenly missing, and only a leader knows the way again, and you are this piece that has to be there. And without you, the team just stops. So, this is precisely where AI experts like me and my colleagues from the RISE network you can meet here at the summit come in. You want to know what the RISE network is? Just a little tip. Speak to Karen Volo and she will give you a lot of very interesting information. So let's go on. So my colleagues and me, we work with companies to develop workflows that enable them to capture knowledge of older employees easily and effectively. We develop no dry Excel spreadsheets. We develop lively processes that work immediately in everyday life. This ensures that the company's most valuable asset is not left untapped, but becomes the basis for growth. So let's have a closer look at our solution, the KI-ProExperts process. The KI-ProExperts process, these are 4 steps to secure knowledge, practical and effective. Over 20 years entrepreneurship have taught me one thing. Knowledge preservation is not archiving. It must be a living process. So we recommend a 4-step approach. Let's have a closer look at this. Step 1, identification. Let's focus first which topics in the company structure are critical for you, and especially who has critical knowledge. We make this visible with you in an expert map that shows clearly arranged. Who knows that? Where are the gold mines and the gold nuggets of the company? Step 2, extraction. Let's introduce customized structured interviews so that over the time, the staff no longer sees this as anything special. So we summarize also activities and craft processes in video and screen recordings, and shadowing new employees accompany experienced staff and document their daily work. We get a new process of knowledge management. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But it's often the first big breakthrough. To be honest, do you already have a workflow in your place to store knowledge within your company, organized and going on every day? Step 3. Step 3 is the transformation base. Now comes the really fun for an AI expert. Now comes for us the magic of AI. With data-protected AI, we turn raw material into usable formats. That means into clear instructions, decision trees, and interactive models. The AI transcribes, structures, fills in missing details and nuggets, and turns insider knowledge into usable corporate capital. And then the last but not least very important point is started. Step 4, activation. Finally, to activate this as a lively part of your company culture and an ongoing part, we install regular knowledge days, micro-learning impulses in all departments, and use gamification with points, badges, and rewards. So we are engaging your staff to be familiar, to collect knowledge. This way, knowledge retention doesn't feel like a chore. It becomes a sporting competition. Everybody loves. So when we enrich this knowledge with AI, it is not only preserved, it's multiplied. For example, your company has a few locations across Europe. The service technician in Munich, Bavaria, Germany, for example, found a solution today to a problem that had been around for a long time. So he can document this knowledge right away. And now comes the fun fact with the possibility of automation and AI. Because the colleague in Paris can access this new knowledge right away, tomorrow, can use it tomorrow in her or his own language, with all contextual info, with a step-by-step video, without handling of anybody else. This is fun. So wouldn't this be an unbelievable new way of knowledge transition in your company? Across all borders? But with all this excitement, so many people out there forget at the moment, now comes the crucial point. For all European companies and those who work with them, knowledge management is accompanied in Europe by the law now regarding the use of AI tools and application. Once you start using AI, there's no getting around the EU AI Act. The EU is reacting with a framework that affects companies at every level. It's not only an issue for the big tech companies. This is just a small start. Parts of the AI Act now take effect already in 2025, now started in August. 62% of the decision makers see this as an opportunity for trust, transparency, and fair competition. But technology leaders like Siemens warn, for example, because the rules could slow down innovation. But in my opinion, if we don't act wisely And that's exactly why we must pay attention, not as a burden, but as a chance to shape the playing field early on. So, is the EU AI Act now a risk or a competitive advantage? The EU AI Act is the first comprehensive AI law worldwide. And its main purpose is to ensure one thing above all else: that artificial intelligence is used safely, transparently, and ethically. So specifically, it regulates three things. Safety, that means protection against malfunctions or misuse. This is essential. The transparency, that users clearly recognize when they are interacting with AI, and in an ethical way, avoidance of discrimination and manipulation and non-transparent decisions as a team. To make the market clearer for this purpose, the law divides the AI systems now into risk levels. Just to explain this, let's start with the lowest category, the minimal risk applications. These are applications with almost no risk. For example, just a spell checking using AI. Then it follows with the limited risk applications. That means transparency obligations. Chatbots are AI-supported marketing tools, for example, where it must be clearly recognizable for the customer that AI is being used. You see this already at Instagram or Facebook. Then follows the high-risk application. And these includes AI systems used for sensitive purposes, such as personal decisions, lending or credit, and medical diagnostics. Strict requirements apply here, and including those related to data protection, traceability, and human supervision. And the last, high unacceptable risk applications. These are applications that are completely prohibited, including social scoring based, like you see in China and the Chinese model, and manipulative AI. This is a word I really trained on it. Sorry, I'm not a native speaker, as you can hear. So, and some words are really tricky. So, okay, let's go on. A manipulative AI that influences children's elections. So, I think the EU AI Act builds a really good base. Don't you think so? Many see the AI Act as a bureaucratic monster. I see it as a huge opportunity. Those who are compliant today not only build trust, they gain a real market advantage. When others are still adjusting, you will already be one step ahead. Compliance becomes a form of competitive protection, and those who know the rules, they block competition before it even starts. So be prepared for a really good tool intelligence. Don't forget this point, because I have seen companies spend thousands of euros on trendy AI tools only to throw them out months later after compliance check failed. This is avoidable. The key is tool intelligence, choosing the right toolbox from the beginning. And this is precisely where another question arises that manager and leaders ask me. Which AI tools can I use in Europe without hesitation, and which ones poses risk? We have analyzed the current landscape to give you a clear overview. International solutions and their European secure alternatives. Not every tool has an alternative, to be honest, But our freebie for you is not an advertising brochure. It's kind of a compass. So you can make your decisions faster and more confidently. So please get your freebie. This will make you more sensitive in your choice of applications and tools for the future. In everyday life, just to decide very fast, just think of 3 rules. Choose providers who are GDPR compliant and guarantee EU data residency. Easy. Second, ensure integration and interfaces with your existing systems. This is not only EU AI Act conform, but you don't end up paying for everything new in an expensive way. And the third thing is avoid vendor lock-in. Stay just flexible. This is a flexible market who has such a big dynamic. So don't tie yourself to just one provider. Pick solutions that give you the freedom to switch if your needs, cost, or regulations change. Sometimes the best investment is not the newest tool, but the safest one. So you see, it's not just about securing the knowledge of retiring employees. It's about making AI with the right tools, with EU compliance, as a permanent part of your corporate DNA. AI is not a sprint. It's a long-term run. It's like a marathon, like with health. Training once is not enough. Regular exercises makes the difference. So the real level lies in training your staff, your people. It's not a one-time project, but rather an ongoing process. Only when all levels are involved, from trainees to management, can AI unfold its full potential. That's why we are building at the moment the KI-ProExperts Academy, and you can leave your address in a waiting list just aside the freebie link if you're interested in our curriculum, which will be published very soon. So now, to conclude my speech, if you take away one thing today, knowledge can be secured, knowledge can be activated, and AI can be an amplifier. The only thing that remains, finding the right companion for this journey in practice. So my experience tells me, look always for partners who combine both knowledge of entrepreneurship and AI. Because only those who know both can build workflows that don't just work in the lab, but in real business life. That's the difference between theory and impact. And let's not forget, EU regulations have global impact, I'm sure. The so-called already Brussels effect. Those who prepare for the AI Act today set international standards and gain an advantage not just in Europe, but worldwide. And human-oriented AI means for us, we are not replacing anyone. We don't want to replace anyone. We are refining knowledge, find new areas of responsibility, and we unleash people. We give older employees a voice, preserve valuable experience, and create smart tools that make everyday work more efficient. Because AI is not and should not be a competitor to humans. It amplifies their knowledge. Just think about, we as humans have developed this technology. So, my name is Simone Eckelt. I look forward to exploring these questions with you and maybe preserving the library in your company. It's important to keep it open for the next generation. So, I ask you, what knowledge in your company must not be lost? Thank you very much. Have a great day.